If a cop asks whether you have weapons in your vehicle, you need to know exactly what to say. This video covers the 5 traffic stop mistakes that turn legal gun owners into criminal defendants. By the end, you will have the exact words, legal citations, and moves that keep you free. Most gun owners believe that being legal, licensed, and cooperative protects them. Be polite, transparent, answer questions, and everything works out. That belief is costing people their freedom. Transparency is not a legal strategy. It is a gift to the prosecution. Every question an officer asks, even small talk, is a structured attempt to build probable cause. The moment you answer, you hand them ammunition to charge you. Being legal does not protect you. Knowing the law protects you. I have spent years analyzing state and federal firearms law, real cases, real arrests, real convictions. Here are 5 mistakes and 5 legal solutions, from protecting your life to legally ending the stop on your terms. Stay through all 5. The order matters. Mistake number 1. Consenting to a vehicle search. Not because you wanted to, but because an officer made it feel rude to say no. Here is the scenario. The officer has your license. The stop should end, but instead they lean on your window and say casually, "You don't mind if I take a quick look, right? It'll only take a second." Or, "I'm just gonna check the back seat real fast, okay?" Or the classic, "If you've got nothing to hide, you don't mind me looking." At that moment, most people say yes, not because they have something to hide, but because they feel social pressure. They want to seem cooperative. Saying no feels like an accusation against themselves. Here is what the law says. Officers cannot search your vehicle during a routine stop without 3 things: probable cause, a warrant, or your consent. If you give consent, it is valid and binding. Everything found is fair game. In court, the charges stick. Officers are trained to frame consent questions so both yes and no can mean permission. You don't mind, right? Say, "No, I don't mind." That is a yes. Say, "I'd rather you didn't." That is evasion, which justifies suspicion. There is only one correct response. Look at the body camera and say, "I do not consent to any searches." Not, "I'd rather not." Those are ambiguous. The phrase, "I do not consent to any searches," is legally unambiguous. The camera records it. No officer can later claim you gave permission. Say it as many times as needed. Calm, polite, firm, consistent. Even if everything you own is legal, consenting has severe consequences. Officers may mishandle your firearm. They may find unrelated items that create additional charges. If anything sits in a legal gray area, the fact that you voluntarily consented rather than asserting a constitutional right will be used against you. Do not consent, ever. That stops the search from starting. But some gun owners do the right thing at the window, then destroy their case with a follow-up question. That is mistake number 2. Mistake number 2. Answering questions you have no obligation to answer. Here's the setup. You disclosed your firearm if required. The officer has your license and registration. By every legal measure, the stop should end. But the questions keep coming. Where are you coming from tonight? Where are you headed? Has anyone else been in this car? Is there anything I should know about? These are not small talk. Every question is a structured attempt to get facts justifying an extended stop or search. Under the 4th Amendment, officers need consent or probable cause to search. These questions manufacture it. The 5th Amendment gives you the absolute right to remain silent. That right applies on the roadside exactly as in a courtroom. When asked where you are coming from, the correct response is, "I plead the 5th, not I'd rather not say, or I don't answer questions." Those are ambiguous and can seem uncooperative. "I plead the 5th is constitutionally precise. It cannot be twisted. You might think, "I have nothing to hide. I know what's in my car." But you cannot guarantee what is in your vehicle. A passenger may have left something. Someone may have tossed something through a window. Courts have seen gun owners charged with contraband they genuinely did not know about. Their own words, "There's nothing in here, go ahead and look," became evidence of deception when something was found. The stakes are catastrophic. A felony weapons conviction carries 5 to 10 years in federal prison, a lifetime firearm ban, and legal fees exceeding $25,000 to $50,000, even for dismissed cases. Stay silent. Plead the 5th on every question beyond legal obligations. You have stopped the search and interrogation. but mistake 3 can end your life, not just your record. Mistake number 3, touching or reaching for your firearm. This is not a legal mistake. This is the mistake that gets you killed. Gun owners do not know the iron rule of traffic stops with firearms present. Never touch, handle, or reach toward your firearm in an officer's presence. Here is how it goes wrong. The officer asks for your registration. It happens to be near your holster or glove box. You reach naturally without thinking. Or the officer says, "I'm going to need to secure that firearm for officer safety. Can you hand it to me?" You think, "I'm compliant. I'll cooperate. I'll hand it over." Do not do it. The moment you hold a firearm with an officer present, that officer is legally justified under qualified immunity to take any action they deem necessary for safety. They face no legal consequences. Here is what the law says. Officers can order you out of the vehicle. Under Pennsylvania versus Mims, they can conduct a limited pat-down under Terry v. Ohio if they have reasonable suspicion you are armed and dangerous. If they want to secure your firearm, they have authority to do so themselves. They do not need you to hand it to them. The correct response when an officer wants to secure your weapon: "Officer, I am not going to touch that firearm in your presence. I will tell you exactly where it is, and you are welcome to secure it yourself." Then state the location: center console, glove box, right hip holster. Keep hands up and visible. Narrate every movement. "I am keeping my hands on the wheel. I am not making any movements." Let them retrieve it. Consequences of reaching for your firearm range from lawful use of force to criminal charges of brandishing, menacing, or assault on an officer, even with innocent intentions. Those charges carry 5 to 15 years. Hands on the wheel. Tell them where it is. Let them get it. You have protected yourself physically and legally, but many gun owners who do everything right still sit roadside for 45 minutes, not knowing what to do. Mistake number 4, not knowing your state's disclosure rules before driving. This happens before the officer speaks. Most gun owners do not know whether their state requires informing an officer about firearms. That ignorance alone creates criminal charges. Picture this: driving home after dinner. Red and blue lights flash. You pull over. You are legal, licensed, fine. The officer asks, "Do you have any weapons?" You say nothing when legally required to speak, or volunteer information when you had no obligation. Either way, you handed the officer reason to escalate. There are 3 state categories. You must know yours before starting the engine. Mandatory disclosure states. Texas is the clearest example. If you have a license to carry, you must inform the officer you have a firearm as soon as practicable. Failing to disclose is a criminal violation. Charges, fines, potential permit loss. You do not wait to be asked. You tell them. Conditional disclosure states. Florida falls here. You are not required to volunteer information, but if an officer directly asks about weapons, you may have a legal duty to answer truthfully depending on permit status. Lying or refusing can expose you to obstruction charges. No duty to inform states. Indiana is a prime example. The law does not require you to say anything. However, and this is critical, not being required to disclose does not mean disclosing is harmless. The moment an officer learns a gun is present, everything changes. Tone shifts. Questions shift. Legal justification for extending the stop shifts. The solution. Before this video ends, look up your state's specific duty to inform law. Write it down. Know it cold. If you travel across state lines with a firearm, know every state's rules you pass through. Ignorance is not a defense. Courts have ruled this repeatedly. Failure to disclose can cost your permit permanently, result in Class A or B misdemeanors with fines reaching $4,000 or more, and escalate to felonies in aggravated circumstances. 1 omission. 1 stop. Your carry rights gone. Gun laws change state by state. If you want updates so you know before you drive, not after you're charged, subscribe. But the final mistake lets routine stops turn into 45-minute detentions. Mistake number 5, not knowing how to legally end the stop. Gun owners who do everything right, disclose properly, plead the fifth, refuse search, then sit roadside for 30 to 45 minutes because they do not know they have the right to end the stop and the exact words to do it. Here is the scenario. You did everything right, but the officer stalls, running plates again, calling backup, saying, "Just give me a few more minutes," telling you a K-9 unit is coming. What are your rights? Under Rodriguez v. United States, 2015, a traffic stop cannot extend beyond time reasonably required to complete the stop's purpose without independent reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. Once the officer has run your license, checked registration, and written or declined a citation, the stop should end. Holding you longer is unlawful detention. Officers know this, so they manufacture reasonable suspicion through your behavior, answers, nervousness. That is why you have been pleading the fifth and refusing consent. Now, take the final step. Ask 2 questions, repeating if necessary. Am I being detained? If yes, what is the legal basis for my detention? If I am not being detained, I am free to go. Thank you, officer. Then leave calmly. If the officer says you are detained but cannot articulate specific legal reasons, that is unlawful detention. Anything from it, search, arrest, may be thrown out in court. On K-9s, officers cannot extend a completed stop solely to wait for a drug dog without independent, reasonable suspicion. Rodriguez confirmed this, but they will manufacture suspicion from your nervousness, answers, movements, which is why you have been silent and still. When officers sense losing control, they get louder. They accuse, "Don't get smart with me." Your response does not change. Calm, polite, firm. I do not consent to any searches, like a broken record. Not knowing when to end the stop gives officers time to build cases from nothing. Extended stops have led to searches, arrests, and felony charges against legal gun owners who simply did not know they could ask those 2 questions. You have the right to go home now. You know how to use it. Let us lock in these 5 moves before you drive again. Mistake 1. Consenting to search. The only words that protect you are, "I do not consent to any searches." No ambiguity, no softening. Say it to the body camera. Mistake 2. Answering unnecessary questions. Plead the fifth every time on every question beyond legal obligations. Mistake 3. Touching your firearm, hands on the wheel. Tell the officer where it is. Let them retrieve it. You never touch it. Mistake 4. Not knowing disclosure laws. Look up your state's duty to inform law today. Write it down. Know it before you drive. Mistake 5. Not ending the stop. Am I being detained? 2 words that change everything. Any one mistake can cost your carry permit, your right to own firearms, thousands in legal fees, and your freedom. This is not hypothetical. This is happening to legal gun owners right now. Make sure you subscribe to Weapons Law Advisor, and don't forget to like and comment on the video to help us reach our amazing milestone of 10,000 subscribers. Every single subscriber matters. Your support is what makes this journey possible.